reset, and then the actual gut, the gut feeling there of I believe something is different here.
Were you at all agitated or nervous in these situations?
I would not.
You hope not. Thank you. Now you described that you had taken the phone of Cy Miles. That's correct, right?
Objection. The counsel's leading the witness.
Your Honor, I'm trying to establish motive, and it's a previous question already stated in the affidavit, so I believe that it is viable evidence.
I'm going to overrule the objection at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. My previous question was that you had taken the phone of Cy Miles. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, in this time, did you take the phone of anyone else?
During that investigation, or are you referring to another investigation?
During that investigation.
Yeah, so I actually interviewed Jet Jones, and they actually offered their phone up, and we began to investigate their phone as well. So there's two phones we kind of looked through the data on.
All right, thank you. In your recorded line of duty in your history, have you noticed how a criminal acts when their phone is asked to be seen from them?
Can you repeat that question, please?
Objection. Speculation.
Your Honor, this is a question that is to establish motive.
I understand it's a question to establish motive, but you cannot ask a witness to speculate unless that witness has professional experience in the area. So can you rephrase the question for me again, please, or restate the question for me again that you were asking?
I'll reword, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Officer Zapata, in your history and your knowledge, how does a criminal act when they're in a situation where an officer would like to see their phone?
A lot of times they're very nervous and apprehensive, almost guarded.
All right, thank you. Now, would you say that Cy Miles was guarded when you did remove the phone from her possession?
What I think is she was very, very nervous because she knew that phone contained data that I would then use against her. So very, very nervous, again, apprehensive of the whole situation.
You describe in your affidavit that when you took the phone of Cy Miles, you discovered on the phone some cell phone data and search history. Now, could you describe for me what that search history was?
Yes. So when we typically analyze phone data, we run it through programs that identifies hot words and things that come up that are almost can be linked to, in essence, why we're investigating. And so some of those buzzwords that came up in their search history was concerts gone wrong, criminal penalties for threats and Home Depot. And then we also found out that they had actually downloaded the Facebook app, which we found out to be end up being deleted.
Great, thank you. At this time, Your Honor, I would like to introduce Exhibit 4 for the jury, which is the report from Forensic Magician.
Okay.
All right, would you like me to attempt to share my screen again?
No, I'm going to do it. I've just got to get the report up. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Now, thank you, Your Honor. Now, this report, Forensic Magician, it states the different search histories of Cy Miles. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And it also states the Wi-Fi connection from the past 30 days. Is that correct?
That is correct.
The Wi-Fi connection that shows here is Digby Theater. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, thank you. No further questions, Your Honor. Your Honor, there are no further questions at this time. Was she disconnected?
I think Your Honor is on her lunch break.
Okay.
Objection.
Objection to the objection.
So the question is, what do we do when the judge is not in the courtroom?
Well, I can keep talking. If that would please you.
Tell us the story, Jason.
All right, guys. Sorry about that.
There she is.
Larry,
Yes. Ms.
say by
Melton,
the bell.
yeah, let me interrupt y'all for just a minute. Miss Melton is trying to get hooked onto the call, and it is not working. That's what actually kicked me off. So let me see if I can get her back on. Not sure what's going on. She was able to join yesterday with no problem, but today we are having some issues.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
worst comes to worst, might consider if maybe just everyone shut off the call, then restart. That might be an option.
That might be the best option. Let's do that. Let's have everybody hang up and let me call you back, okay?
Okay.
All right.
He hasn't talked yet. That's Pastor Gareth and Courtney.
Just turn the camera on.
Okay.
Don't turn the.
right, let's see who all's back. Starting to get there. By the way, since we did that, Mr. Luke Kennedy from the law office, I think, is going to be able to join us as well. He had just sent me contact information while we were in the midst of the trial. So we have 7 people right now. Let's see who else is. Don't know what's going on today. We're up to 9. We got Jason back. We got Mr. Dryer back. Still telling me Miss Melton is unavailable. Got Micah back. We've got Pastor Bubba back. Get y'all to hold on for a second. I don't know if tag on the internet or what. My call all messed up. Is that on the internet or is that just okay? Just checking to see what the possibilities were. All right. Let's see if I can. Let's see who's all on here now. All right, so we are still missing. Now we've lost Orlando and Heidi. No, Heidi's on here. Okay, so we've lost Orlando. All right, I just sent them another link that should attach them to our call. I don't know what else is to do. And I don't know why we can't seem to get Orlando back, but we're going to have to just keep on going. All right, I do apologize for the technical difficulties, but if it makes you feel any better, our actual court system is having to operate this way as well. So, okay. So, Jason, you had me sharing the screen with an exhibit, correct?
I was finished questioning Officer Zapata. There were no further questions at this time.
Okay. All right. Then, defense, do you have a cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you ready to proceed with it?
Yes.
All right. Then you may cross-examine.
When you were interviewing Jet Jones, did she seem distracted in any way?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you explain how she was distracted?
It seemed to be that with her phone out and present, that she wasn't really engaged with much that was going on in terms of the question. And then actually asking her why that was the case, she explained that she had an article that she wanted to see how many likes that was involved with it. And so just kind of verified that she wasn't fully involved with what we were working through.
So is there any direct evidence linking the defendant to the Cynical Songwriter account?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Is there any direct evidence linking the defendant to the Facebook account?
The exhibit.
Oh, you are cutting in and out.
Say that again.
Both Marty and the witness are cutting in and out. I'm only hearing about every other word. So, Marty, can you repeat the question?
Yes. Is there any direct evidence linking the defendant to the Cynical Songwriter account?
Yes. The Cynical Songwriter account actually was created on the 26th of October. And the IP address, which is kind of the stamp for the investigation that we're using, matched that phone. And actually, if you remember the exhibit that was shown, it shows the Wi-Fi connection that was actually linked, the Digby Wi-Fi, so that it was on location of the incident. And so the link between that and the phone and the nerve of the defendant.
So it was created at 4:32 p.m., correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, I would like to refer back to Exhibit 4.
Okay.
Which shows that Cy was last connected to the Digby Wi-Fi at 4:08 p.m.
Okay. Let me get the screen sharing going again. Is it there?
Yes.
Okay.
So, therefore, he could not have created the Cynical Songwriter account at 4:32 p.m. if he was last connected at 4:08 p.m. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Prosecution, do you have a redirect? Sorry. I mean, yeah. Prosecution, do you wish to redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Officer Zapata, when you confiscated Ms. Miles' phone, and you examined it for incriminating evidence, what exactly did you find?
Okay. What did I find personally, or what programs did I use? What databases?
What data did you recover on the phone?
Recovered that the timestamp with the IP address. IP addresses, as you know, are managed outside. It's a global thing, And so what we do is rely on a database. It's IANA, and so pretty reliable source. And so that's how we were able to link that data with the phone and actually link it back to the Wi-Fi network, the Cynical Songwriter Facebook account.
Okay.
Also, if you want me to go further into that, I can.
Please.
Okay.
Objection, repetition, Your Honor.
How
Your
is it?
Honor-
Go ahead. Go ahead,
Your Honor,
prosecutor.
Your Honor, we are simply bringing the evidence back to light and going in a different direction.
So this line of questioning will lead us in a different direction than what you've already been in.
Yes. Yes,
And
Your Honor.
I'm going to overrule the objection for now, but get to your point quickly, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Could we bring back up Exhibit 4, Your Honor?
Okay.
So, Officer Zapata, when exactly did you say that the account was created, the Facebook account?
4:32 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
for 26, 2019.
Okay. The IP address, is that linked to the phone or the Wi-Fi at the Digby Theater?
I believe it's to the phone. Excuse
Okay.
me. The IP address 172.16254.1. That's actually assigned to the Digby Theater's Wi-Fi network.
Okay. The last connection history to the Wi-Fi, is that when the device last initially connected to the Wi-Fi, or is that when the device dropped off the Wi-Fi?
I wouldn't know. Sometimes there's actually a data stamp, so it could be both of those, depending on how their Wi-Fi was set up.
Okay. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Defense, do you have anything further?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Officer Zapta. I am assuming that the prosecution is reserving the right to recall you should they need to. Is that correct?
That is
Yes,
correct.
Your Honor. That's
Okay.
correct.
Then thank you. If you will remain available, it would be appreciated. Prosecution, would you like to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. There are no further witnesses that the prosecution would like to bring up at this time, so the prosecution will allow the defense side to present their argument.
So are you saying that the prosecution rests its case?
Well, the prosecution would like to cross-examine the defense witnesses.
Yes, you have the right to do that. But if you are done presenting your case and you rest your case, you can no longer call your own witnesses.
In light of that fact, my apologies. I would like to recall Marvin Hubbard to the stand. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Hubbard, if you would please retake the stand.
I'm here.
Mr. Hubbard, I would like to remind you that you are still under oath.
Okay.
You may proceed.
Mr. Hubbard, could you define for me the name of the band?
The name, yeah. Destination Configuration. This band has somewhere to be and somewhere to go, and so destination. We got somewhere that we're heading towards, and then configuration. It sounded good after Cy sang "Ring of Fire" the first time. Just that idea of maybe something getting overtaken, like a flame up a hillside, just sounded good. And so we want to be like that. We have a destination to go somewhere and to take ablaze this entire country. That's kind of what the name means.
All right, thank you. Was this name configuration at all related to the performance by Cy Miles of "Ring of Fire" by Johnny Cash?
Yeah, it definitely spoke to me in the moment during that time. I just knew that, man, that was a good name for us.
Thank you. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any further questions for this witness at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hubbard. Mr. Bayer?
The prosecution would like to call witness Jet Jones to the stand, Your Honor.
Ms. Jones, if you would retake the stand. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, Ms. Jones. Just a reminder, you are still under oath. Mr. Bayer, you may continue with your questioning.
All right, thank you. Ms. Jones, so when you interacted with Cy Miles, would you say she was at all flustered?
What?
When you saw her at the Digby Theater.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, during this time at the Digby Theater, was Miss Miles messing with anything? Was she doing anything with her hands?
When I walked in, it looked like she had something that looked kind of like a wrench in her hand, and she looked like she was messing with a black box.
And do you have any knowledge of what this black box might have been?
Well, I mean, from prior experience, I figured it had to have something to do with the pyrotechnics.
Okay. Now, did did Cy Miles have anything else in her hands?
Not that I could see.
All right, thank you. For this, Your Honor.
Okay. Defense counsel, do you have any further questions at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize. I was muted and didn't realize.
Okay. All right. You may proceed.
So, Mrs. Jones, when you arrived at the theater before the show, what time approximately did you enter?
A couple hours before the show.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Jones, you may step down. Mr. Bayer, Mr. Grable, will there be anything else from the prosecution?
No, ma'am.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So do you rest your case?
Yes, we do.
Yes, Your Honor.
He He can cross-examine the defense now. Can't bring up the witness.
I'm out.
Okay. Is the defense ready to proceed?
Defense team on. You're a defense witness.
Okay. If the defense is ready to proceed, they may call their first witness.
Could we call Stevie Raven to the stand?
Could you repeat the name again?
Stevie Raven, Your Honor.
Stevie Raven. Stevie Raven, if you would
Yes,
please
sir.
take the stand. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. Sorry, do you swear to tell the whole truth? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. All right, you may proceed.
Could you tell us about yourself?
Yes, my name is Stevie Raven. I'm 27 years old, and I'm marketing manager for Feldman Steve Company. I live out in Cohoe County. I grew up there. I love the outdoors of Cohoe County. That's why we have a lot of feed and seed stores out that way. Store manager is kind of my 9-to-5 job. My real love, my passion is music. I love all kinds of music, hip hop, Texas blues and rock, even big band music. I'm a huge music fan. And I especially like going to hear live music. We're living out in the boondocks in Cohoe County. There's not much live music scene. So I go in sometime into town, into Rowe, for their pretty active music scene and pretty good art scene there. And I especially love the Digby Theater. I've gone there since I was in high school. They've got great shows. A lot of big names from our part of the country come through there. I love the vibe of the Digby Theater. It's built in the 1920s. I love the murals, the old vibe, the wooden floors, everything. Love that charming building. And that's why I was there on that night on that eventful night.
The night that you were there, did you happen to see Cy Miles before the show started?
Yes, I did. Because they have, they had the Can You Dig It music festival that weekend. I was in and out a lot. And they had a lot of food trucks there, local food trucks there, and fish and chips and stuff. And so I was out there getting a snack, and I was shocked to see Cy Miles hang out in front of the main entrance. There's a main entrance and a side entrance. And I've always used this main entrance ever since I've been there. And so I saw her, and I recognized her immediately.
What was Cy Miles doing?
Hold on just a moment, Miss Ferranda. Miss Ferranda, hold on just a moment. Does somebody have a device going in the background, maybe? A radio or something like that? We're getting some feedback.
It sounds more like
that was me, Your Honor. I apologize.
The voice looping back.
We had a messaging machine going off.
Okay. So it's on your. Okay. Let's ask. I am going to ask that everybody mute your mic unless you are actually being questioned or doing the questioning right now. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Ferrando. Thank you.
So what was Cy Miles doing when you saw them?
Well, when I saw her, she was there with her face in her phone. But nowadays, everyone has their face in the phone, it seems like. But I'm a big fan. Even though she's looking down at her phone, I recognize her immediately because I'm just a huge Cy Miles fan. And so I thought, like Grandma used to say, strike while the iron's hot. So I walked up and introduced myself. And she seemed kind of startled to see me, and she quickly shoved her phone back in her pocket, which is, normal. But then she started talking, and she was real friendly. Sometimes people like that big name, I get stuck up or really conceited. But she seemed really down to earth. She seemed sincerely glad to talk to me. She's very approachable. We talked some, laughed. I said I'm a huge fan. and just seemed like a really, really nice person. And then she said, when I asked for an autograph, she said, well, we make it quick because I've got a cab coming. A cab will be here any minute. I've got to run, but I'll make a quick autograph. I said, well, it was at that point, maybe close to 4:30. I said, you're on at 6 o'clock. Why are you going to leave? You have a show real quick. And so don't tell anybody, but I'm going to go out to Duckington. That's about 30 minutes away. And there's a music producer there, and I may actually be going out solo on my own. And I'm here to kind of talk that through while I'm in town. Should keep it, on the down low. But if I go solo, you'll be my first fan. And then about when that was done, the taxi pulled up, and she hopped in her car and took off. We just waved and said goodbye. And I never saw her again.
So where exactly did this conversation take place?
Right smack dab in front of the main door. Not the side entrance, which I've never used. The main entrance, the old, the main door on the main street there. All the food trucks and all the food vendors are there, and that's where I saw her. She was there right by the front door, just kind of hanging out look at her cell phone when I spoke to her.
And what time exactly was this conversation, and what time about did it end?
I did look at my phone and I watched exactly. And it's been a while, but probably about 4:30, because I think it was especially 4:30 was the other group, because that Money group was supposed to perform. And so I talked to her. I went inside, and shortly thereafter, that other group began playing. So I would think it was probably a few minutes before 4:30. Again, I did look at my watch to verify, but about a bit before 4:30 probably.
Did you meet anyone else there? Like, did you meet anyone else when you were at the theater?
Well, of course, it was very crowded, tons of people everywhere. But when I went back inside, I did see Jet Jones. So those are the only two people that I saw that I actually recognized. I saw Jet Jones after I saw Cy Miles.
And when was this? When did you see Jet Jones?
Well, it was...
Jack, Your Honor, this is irrelevant information and repetition.
Which one is your objection?
It's repetition. We've already heard about the time. We don't need to again, Your Honor.
Okay. You are correct. This has been asked and answered, so I will sustain this objection. If the defense would move on to their next question, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Did you date with Jet Jones?
I beg your pardon, I can't hear.
Did you communicate with Miss Jones?
Yes, I did. I know Miss Jones. We have kind of you could say, complicated relationship. To be frank, I'm not a big fan of Jet Jones. I mean, she's really good competency-wise. She knows her stuff. She's a great music writer. She's a big name. She knows her stuff, but I think she's kind of conceited. There was a time earlier when I thought maybe I could become a music writer. I thought maybe I could, submit some of my essays and my feedback to her for her, network. And I emailed some thoughts and never heard anything back. And then I did a follow-up email, and her response was more or less, don't quit your day job. So I felt kind of insulted. I thought she could have let me down more easily. Actually, she hurt my feelings. But I guess, she's a big name, and who am I? I'm just a nobody. So now I'm just, I'm a seed seller and a music fan, which is fine now. A lot of water under the bridge. But we had email before. That's when I saw her inside the theater, I recognized her. I thought, well, it's been a couple of years. I'll approach her again, show that no grudge. I'm not holding a grudge. And who knows? Maybe things have changed. Maybe I've grown since then. Maybe she's changed. And who knows? Maybe we can work something out in the future. So I went ahead to speak with her.
So, what did you guys talk about when you communicated with her?
Well, I walked up to see her, And with I think it's extremely crowded. I barely got to it. There was like a huge throng of people because this was probably about 6 o'clock, right before Destination Conflagration was supposed to perform. So it's close to 6, very packed. And I had to it took me maybe 5 minutes to kind of work through the crowd to get close to her. And she also, she was looking at her phone. She was on Facebook. I don't know what she was looking at or writing, but it was, I saw the blue and white Facebook logo. Everyone recognized it. It's universally recognizable. So she was looking on Facebook, and I spoke to her, and she seemed startled that I would out of the crowd speak. But then she also took her phone away, but she very quickly retained composure. And before I could say anything about, introduce myself, she says, "Don't you know there's going to be big news? Big news is coming."
And what did she say was that news? Did she elaborate on that?
There could be like a bomb threat. It could be a bomb threat. We all need to get out of there. And so I was shocked. And so when I heard that, I thought, I better, hightail it out of this place, because I've known that I've gone to that theater since I was in high school, and thankfully, now they have two exits. Up until a few years ago, they had one exit only. That very narrow staircase, opposite the stage. And so I thought I better get out of here quickly, because I've always thought that, as much as I love that theater, I've always thought it was kind of a fire trap. You have all those people built in the 1920s, long before modern code, and even with 2 exits, I've always thought it was kind of dodgy in terms of trying. If a big crowd tried to get in a hurry, I always had a bad hunch that something bad could happen. So when I heard that from her, I just wanted to get out of there quick.
What kind of temperament did she have when she shared that information? What was her disposition?
Actually, she seemed startled, not because of the bomb, but because I spoke to her, which seems kind of weird. And then she regained her composure, and that seems kind of weird to me too. If there's a bomb threat coming, why would you be so calm? But she did regain her composure and said, the main thing is there's going to be a bomb threat here. We need to get out of here. This is going to be big news.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Prosecution, would you like to cross-examine?
Yes, ma'am, we would. Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
All right, Mr. Stevie Raven. You say you have been a fan of music for a long time. Is that correct?
Huge fan, and especially live music in Row and at the Digby Theater. Yes, sir.
All right. So you enjoy the Digby Theater. Now, have you been there?
Oh, I've gone there since I was in high school. Yes, sir. Since I started driving, before I was driving, I would go with like my brother and my friends. It's not too far, an hour and a half away. So I've been a big fan of the Digby Theater. They got great popcorn, and especially I like it those like Can You Dig It festival weekend. All the food trucks up front. One food truck has the best fish and chips of this fresh salmon. Wow, it's just to die for.
Okay. So you talked to Sly Miles before the concert, correct?
Yes, sir. I would think a little bit before 4:30, when she got in the cab and drove off she said she was going to Duckington. I never saw her again.
Okay. Would you say that Sly Miles was excited about embarking on this solo career?
Yes. Seemed happy. And then she said, keep on the down low. It seemed kind of weird, because why do you tell a total stranger to keep a big secret a secret? But that's what I heard.
Now, were you happy at all to find out that you would be the first fan of this solo career?
Oh, I was thrilled beyond measure. I thought, wow, I feel really special that I'd be the first one to know. Like, wow, that's huge news in the music world.
Now, did Psy act like she was kind of rushed in your conversation?
Yeah, she made it very clear when I spoke to her. She said, with a make it, she didn't say snappy, but she made it snap, make it quick. But it makes sense. I mean, she's a busy person, and she said she had a taxi coming, and Duckington's a good 30 minutes away. So if I start at 4:30, and the concert was at 6, by the time she got there, she had only a few minutes of Duckington to come back. So her time was extremely tight.
All right.
But I think even though the time was so short, she was very cordial and really down to earth and very friendly.
Okay. All right. Now, after Psy Miles left, what did you do?
When she left, that's when I'd been getting some food there at those food trucks, and then later on I went back inside, and my main thing was gearing up for the Destination Conflagration show at 6. I did go in, as I mentioned before, I went through those back stairs, but it wasn't. It's kind of weird, even though it was a really crowded day. I mean, the theater was packed out, the street was packed out, but the staircase wasn't really that crowded. But I used the back staircase only. I never used the side staircase.
Where would you say most of the people were crowded in the concert stage area?
Just in the in the audience area. Almost all the seats were filled and the hallways were crowded. Looking back, I'm kind of surprised the fire department didn't shut it down, but it was very crowded. Like I mentioned, sir, I was trying to talk to Jet Jones, and there's a huge throng of people around her. I had to wait maybe 5 or 10 minutes just to kind of weave through the crowd to get close to her.
Okay. So you saw Jet at this concert, and when you approached her and spoke to her, what did she say?
Well, she looked kind of startled. I would speak to her, and I said, "Hey, I emailed you a couple of years ago, and how you been doing?" And then she said, "Well, that's not really the point. The big news is coming. Something big is going to happen."
All right. Could this big news have been the breakup of the band between Marlo and Psy?
No, she didn't mention that at all. I mean, she just said that there's going to be a bomb threat. We all need to move to the exits and get out of here. So
Right.
it was definitely not about the music thing. It was about kind of a run for your life situation, which again seemed weird. If it was so dangerous, so desperate, why was she herself so calm? Why was she on Facebook? Why wasn't she running for the exits? That seems kind of strange to me thinking back on it now.
So you say that you use the main entrance to arrive at the theater, and would you say that other people did not use the side exit as much because there weren't many people around that area?
Would you please repeat the question?
Were there people around the area to use the side exit?
I didn't personally observe that because I've never used the side exit. Where I park, I always go in and out the main door. Plus, I can buy that popcorn when I come in and out through the lobby. But I just know on that day, the main exit was surprisingly empty. It wasn't totally empty, but it was not very crowded. Because I remember back in the day, before they built the side exit, after a show, it would take 45 minutes to empty the building because you had a huge crowd following that narrow staircase from first floor to second floor to exit the building. But on that day, it was I could get in and out surprisingly quickly. So I guess most people were using the side door, but that's just my conjecture.
So at the beginning, did you see Destination Conflagration on the stage?
No, it hadn't started yet. It was about 6 o'clock, but the show hadn't begun yet. And that's when people again, it's like kind of like a wave of panic rippled through the crowd, because first everyone seemed really chill and calm. All of a sudden, like, word got out. People started, moving toward the door very, very quickly. I don't know if they had started seeing the Facebook post or word of mouth, people were escaping. And then I heard that loud bang behind me. I'm just glad I got out alive.
Now, did Cy tell you at all about this potential danger, this threat?
No, nothing at all, sir.
No.
Again, we just spoke for literally a minute or two about her career, but she didn't mention anything about a threat or anything danger. Nothing whatsoever.
All right, thank you. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Defense, would you like to redirect? Defense? Miss Ferrando?
Sorry,
Miss
I
Bishop?
just muted again. Yes, ma'am. We would like to ask him some questions.
Okay, go ahead.
So Cy was the first. Cy said that you were the first one to know about his solo career. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that what she had said?
Yeah, which again seems weird. Why would she tell a total stranger this big career secret? But I felt thrilled. I felt honored. Kind of like an insider. Like she's really trusting me.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. It is actually 2:03. So what I am going to ask is that we end our court session for today, and that we back up tomorrow at 1:00. At which time the defense will continue with their case. So I will see you tomorrow. If I could, Miss Melton and Mr. Kennedy, if you are available to meet, just hang on the line with me after everybody hangs up. I'd like to talk to you for just a couple minutes if you've got the time. Everybody else, I will see you later.
See you guys.
Are we meant to leave as well?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes. Thank
Everybody but the other two. Hi, Miss Melton.
Hello. Nice to hear your voice and see your face. Sorry for whatever was going on earlier.
I think maybe you were trying to sign in on a different account, or it was recognizing the computer as a different thing, because even when you got signed in, it still has you as not signed in on the other account. But that's okay. We got you on here. I don't know what's going on. It's been kind of a dicey day with the internet anyway. As I'm sure you heard, the volume was cutting in and out and just crazy things going on. I'm not sure. Is Mr. Kennedy on here? Yeah, there he is.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, awesome. Hold on. It seems like one of my students is still on here. There we go. He's the jury member. I don't want I just wanted to double check with you guys. It has been a long time since I had to play the judge in one of these things. My classes have usually been big enough that one of the students gets to play the judge. And I want to make sure that I am conducting the procedure correctly. Is there anything that I am doing as the judge that is not correct or that I need to fix? That you guys have to.
Sure, yeah. Just in today, and even listening to yesterday's, I've been very impressed with how you've been running it. I haven't seen anything that was like, oh, we would never do that.
Okay.
So.
If not, you're a bit more detailed than an average judge because they don't really ask for explanation of the objection too often.
Yes. Well, part of that is that I'm trying to see if they really know why they need to object. That's the teacher part of me.
No problem. They're
I
doing
mean,
great.
at least the judges I've been in front of, they have like, okay, so what's your objection for? Like, it just really depends on the judge. So
Yep.
you let your personality shine through for sure.
So, okay, well, I just wanted to double check on that. I think they're doing wonderfully. I think we might be able to wrap up tomorrow as far as the arguments, and then we just have to let the jury members decide. And I don't know how long that will take. But I really wanted, the other reason I wanted to meet with y'all is just to tell you, I really appreciate you giving your time and helping these guys out. They've had a really rough senior year. I don't know how much y'all know about their senior year, but they're in a brand new school for their senior year. The school they've gone to pretty much all their lives closed down last year, and they all had to come to a brand new school this year. They lost some of the members of their senior class because some of those students went to a different school. And now with the COVID-19 thing, it's just, they've missed out on a lot. So I really appreciate y'all helping us make sure that they didn't miss out on this. This was the one thing they were looking forward to all year in government class. So I just wanted to give you a heartfelt thank you. I did record today's session. It says it's still recording, even though I told it to stop.